In a world of EMS podcasters, EMS Office Hours is the only live podcast bringing you the latest topics and opinions in EMS. Turn down your scanner and turn up your speakers as we join Jim Hoffman and Josh Knapp on their latest EMS podcasting journey.
Hey everybody, this is EMS Office Hours. I am Jim Hoffman.
And I'm Josh Knapp.
Josh, this episode of EMS Office Hours is sponsored by EMS Manager. So go check out their innovative and easy-to-use EMS employee scheduling and management software. You can get a free trial of that at emsmanager.net. So Josh, today, as you can see,
we are doing something different.
Something a little bit different for EMS Office Hours, and we're doing it sort of twofold. I wanted to test out this video aspect to kind of maybe jazz up the show. Maybe we can do this once a month instead of the other version. And also wanted to try to do something so that we can, record it for prosperity and post the audio even on the main show, so that we have it, we have it there as well. So, so today, I thought, since we're kind of doing the social media thing here with Google Hangouts, that we talk a little bit about some recent social media nonsense as it relates to EMS.
And this is really just recent. It's not the beginning. I mean, this stuff has been going on since you could post. Online, since you could put the message out there. I mean, you think about it. What did office workers used to do when voicemail came out? I mean, all of the jokes. As soon as they got voicemail forwarding, people put out those embarrassing voicemails, and if you got one, you were sure to forward it. So there's no secrets. I mean, the lesson learned is there's no secrets. So you're going to do anything, it's going to be going to be out there.
Well, I think it just ends up being that you really, everybody can see everything. So I want to just start. I know you said you haven't seen this, but I want to kind of share my screen here and show a video of this captain and this helicopter scene here. Can you see this? But pretty much what this was a lieutenant who was on scene, and he was addressing a guy who was recording a video, of...
just a bystander recording or news?
No, he was just a bystander recording it. He was recording the helicopter landing and recording the what was going on. And there was this big thing because, he comes over talking about, scene safety and that the guy he's not allowed to record, he's got to get back X amount of feet, all this type of stuff. But I think the problem was there really wasn't anything kind of being, violated in that. It's almost like this captain had a sort of a desire to kind of flex his muscles almost. You know what I mean? I have the article up. I'm going to just.
It doesn't even look like. It doesn't even look like there was anything that egregious.
No, this is the article here in EMS1.
Yeah, you're going to have to send me the link, actually, because I can't read it from the screen and I can't adjust the screen size.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the main link at EMS1. And just talking about, this guy has every right to he's a civilian.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, the law is well established that as long as you're in a non-protected area, you can film whatever you damn well please. Yeah. I mean, the only thing nowadays.
It's funny that the people on YouTube are commenting that how dare this guy video stuff, whatever. But these are people that probably aren't EMS kind of savvy. People that are EMS in the know sort of have commented on it and talked about Talked about how there's no HIPAA being violated, there's no safety issues. It's interesting if you watch the video. I'll put a link to the video in the show notes just so people can watch the video.
There's no HIPAA being violated anyway. Even if you had a patient, as long as
you've seen a body on a stretcher,
right? And it's not even about that. It's not. It's the caring organization, the people in charge of the patient's care can't share information. But right. If you can't block anything that's in the public domain, essentially.
No.
So, and that, what? I've had friends who've lost their jobs because they, granted they didn't do the right thing, but it was, this was something we talked about it 2 years ago, Jim.
What are people got fired because of what? Recording something?
Not them recording something. Somebody recorded them, and it was at a moment when they took this kid. They thought the kid was there was a fire in the Bronx, and it was the situation where I think the kid was thrown out the window or he was dropped out the window. But either way, they thought he was in respiratory arrest because of smoke. It turned out that, he wasn't, but they were rolling him and he didn't have an O2 mask on him. And this was BLS, and they were rolling him without doing anything. And, the organization fired them for not taking action when it was one of those pass-off situations. And granted, you put it under a microscope. Did they not do the right thing? Yeah. But did the not right thing end up in harming the patient? Not at all. They were transferring care as quick as they could to ALS, and they got caught on camera in the wrong moment. And that goes with the lesson of, when you're in the public view, you got to be aware that anything you can do at any time can be caught on camera and broadcast. Now, if you want to
I think that people get uncomfortable when they're being videotaped, and they try to. And I think that's what happened with this call. If you watch the video, you can see them sort of all of a sudden notice the guy videotaping them. And I guess they get uncomfortable, or they feel that it's not right for someone to be videotaping it. But like you said, it's you're in the public. You can't stop people, from doing that. The Art Hesh that talks about this in EMS 1. He says the camera's going to record everything that's in front of it, but it's not going to record any sound, and it will record any sound within earshot. So you have to also be careful what you say, what you're doing. It's a type of thing where you can now this captain's looking like a jerk, and he's looking, like he was being too aggressive. And I think if you watch the video too, and again, I'll put the video in the show notes so you can look at it, and other people watching haven't seen it can look at it as well. But there's a point where he is calling for police to come, and the way he is requesting the way he's requesting them to get there, it sounds like he is asking for emergency assistance. He's saying combative bystander, things like that, and he's like yelling on the radio, combative bystander, all this type of thing. I mean, people, this guy should get fired. He should, this is ridiculous. He's he's a captain. He should be unemployed. Let's calm down. I mean, the guy probably was uncomfortable.
What pisses me off about that is everybody immediately, what is it, and especially in this day and age, and when you think about first responders and everything else that we sacrifice, why is it the second anybody farts in public, they frickin' want their head. They want their job.
Their head. And we thought of this on the show as well. I mean, where you talk about that, sort of getting thrown to the wolves when something goes on. And listen, people make good comments. This captain was in charge of the scene. He shouldn't really have been worrying so much about this guy videotaping. She's been more worried about the scene itself. And unfortunately, if you watch the video, he talks about the guy has to be back 300 feet and all this good stuff. Meanwhile, there's private cars driving back and forth on the road in front of the guy videotaping. So where is the safety issue? How can you claim a safety issue when you've got vehicles driving back and forth?
No, that's just, he was just trying to be master of the universe on that one.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty clear.
I think what happened, dude, I think that it got away from him. I think he expected the guy recording it to just say, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry," and turn the camera off. And when the guy refused, now it's, questioning his authority, and now you've got, an issue on your hands. So I think, it kind of got away from him, that he didn't expect this guy to sort of challenge him to stop the recording. And I think maybe he thought the guy was going to just, say, okay, whatever. And when he didn't, I think then, it became this power play thing going on. It's not that it's right, but I think it got away from him. I think he really ended up, being too aggressive with the guy, saying things that made him, that, didn't sound right, didn't make him look good. It made him seem more concerned about the guy videotaping than the actual scene and the patient and the helicopter and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So just something I want to kind of point it out. Like I said, just kind of weird there. So we'll see what goes on with that. I want to show this next deal here real quick on this FDNY that suspended this EMS lieutenant.
Well, that was a different thing, man. Oh, did he get suspended? I didn't know, because he was. Well, I saw the article the morning that it appeared in the news.
This is dated today, so I'm guessing, it's pretty recent. This was dated today from the New York Post, I guess.
Right. The New York Post put out an article. They basically, with the discovery of that, the son of that EMS chief,
right?
They were looking for other tweets, and
found this guy.
And found this guy.
Oh, okay.
So this guy had the dumb luck of being in the right place at the wrong time.
And I wonder, it's funny, the line in the article, it said the FDNY is moving to get as many firefighters and EMS members who they deem as offensive offline as quickly as possible. Now, do you think that this is going on? Fidney is doing this because the chief's son had to resign from it. So now they're trying to say, well, okay, if he's going to get in trouble, we're going to get everyone in trouble that has tweeted anything like this.
It's definitely backlash. I mean, it's definitely, they have to come out hard and heavy against any of that, because they've been denying that racism and discrimination existed at all. I mean, right. They've been for years denying that, and everybody freaking knows. And it's funny that it's like coming out now. Ooh, EMS is the back way into the fire academy. Duh. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Why didn't you just interview a EMT from 5 years ago, 10 years ago?
I find it interesting. Like, I feel this is another guy that, I didn't see his tweets. I didn't see what he tweeted. As I saw I saw some of the tweets that he said, and they talked about, different things. I mean, this guy has some pictures apparently where he sketched up a Unabomber as a photo and aiming a handgun and a rifle, and apparently he's got this whole thing in his profile being the bad lieutenant and stuff like that. And, I mean, there's pictures of him now. They got pictures of him sort of crying.
Yeah. Oh, but that was in the article. That was the front page of the Post when it happened. The first article came out, and he was basically, I'm not a bad guy. Other people do it, and then then he sat down and he started to cry. And then when he recovered, he looked at the guy and said, "Well, I'm going to go in for my last day of work."
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, he foretold the future, I guess. I mean, it wasn't a crazy call. He was outed for doing something that was unprofessional, and
Hitler, picture image of Hitler, the profile pic. I mean, this is what, like you mentioned early on about watching what you're doing, because everyone can see it. And I'm actually surprised, like a guy like this with a Hitler profile picture and bad lieutenant and stuff like this, that he wasn't outed earlier by people who maybe were pissed off because he's a lieutenant, so maybe he caught somebody sleeping, or he wrote somebody up, or he mandated somebody that didn't want to get mandated. And,
you know what?
They ratted him out.
You know what it is? It's a higher level of scrutiny, and I think that it's just the new normal for EMS. Because if you recall, I mean, when you got into EMS, I'm sure it was even crazier. I know that when I got into EMS, I remember first thing, oh, you should have been around 4 years ago. Things were even easier. Things were even crazier. You had more autonomy. You could basically hang out wherever you wanted. You could take calls if you wanted. I mean, and because they were bitching about the tone system, and since FD&Y took it over, and there was accountability if you didn't show up to a call in so many minutes. But even then, when I first started, there wasn't GPS. And so you could make your 89 wherever. And there were stories about guys making their 89 like the Statue of Liberty, where in New York, in the city, for folks listening, it's broken up in a grid system, and every assigned unit has a assigned grid, and you get calls and jobs within your grid. But at the morning, if you put it in the wrong grid in KDT, you ended up getting calls in Brooklyn or something.
And you wonder why you're getting sent there, and you look down and say, oh, I put the wrong...
Exactly.
I actually did that a few times.
Yeah, I mean, we all did. I mean,
I updated my status. I updated my status, and I didn't put the right cross street in. And I'm like, "Why are you sending me to this address?" And they were like, "Well, you said that's where you were."
Right.
And I had dispatchers who kind of knew and said.
And the dispatchers then did as well. Come on.
They were like, are you really here?
Yeah. Right. Or you'd say you'd give a location. You say, I don't see him, and the guy would say, well, get out, walk to the phone booth, and take a frickin' look. Right. And because there were guys, usually in dispatch, there were guys who had been on the street, were off the street for one reason or another, by choice or by happening, and that's where they ended up. But you had more autonomy. And then what was the thing that you worried about? Don't let your boss, don't let your supervisor find out where you were, what you were doing, or anything else, if you, in fact, were doing something that wasn't 100% what you should be doing. Now there's complete accountability because they have GPS down to the street address that you're on. So if you say that you're someplace, they know you're where you are. Granted, it's not a perfect system, but it gets better every day as far as being able to track you. And there's a lot of units around the country that have GPS and cameras in. So there's and all that does, Jim, is raise the level of accountability. All it does is it says, you're not only responsible for being there, but we can know whether or not you being there. I mean, crap. When you first were in, did you use a punch clock or did you sign in your time?
Yeah, you signed in and yeah.
Do you ever know anybody ever to sign in times that they weren't there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So, now they have you palm in. You can't even, there's no getting around that. So as they sort of pull the reins in, as they make, what are actions more restrictive, it's almost that you have to worry about less about, those sort of games. But what EMS still is used to, I think, is that autonomy on the street. If you're where you're supposed to be, you're radio compliant, you're signal compliant, you're all that is good. But now there could be anybody who has a phone taking your picture.
Yeah, taking a picture, following you on Facebook, following you on Twitter, and complaining or mentioning things that you're doing or not doing, on it. Josh, real quick, I want to talk about one other thing before we end today. I know we're going to do kind of a short show, but I wanted to just, before we get to the end thing, I want to mention the sponsor real quick.
Okay.
So this episode, again, is sponsored by EMS Manager. This is the website. You can see the website, right, Josh?
I can.
Yeah. So go check out their site. This is emsmanager.net, guys. You got to try this software out, okay? It really does take the chore of employee scheduling and management of EMS providers, and it makes it easy to set up and easy to maintain and easy to manage. So it's all in the cloud. It's web-based. You can get on any smartphone, any computer, as long as you have an internet connection. Pricing is based on the organization, and that means it's affordable for everybody. Okay, and like I mentioned, it's in the cloud, so that means there's no additional IT costs that get associated with your subscription to this. So it's always free training. There's free tech support, free system software updates. So really, if you're thinking about getting something like this for your agency, or you think your agency is thinking about using a program like this to help them with scheduling and management, go check it out for themselves, for yourself, or let your managers know to go check it out. It's a free, it's customizable trial. It's at emsmanager.net. And as always, I want to thank EMS Manager for sponsoring EMS Office Hours, as well as a lot of the other EMS programs from the ProBand Network. EMS Manager is proud to support us and EMS providers and EMS managers through this sponsorship and the support of what we do here on the podcast and out in the field. So show some support for them. Go check them out. Get that free trial. It's emsmanager.net. It's from Alatic, just right here. This is the page you would go to. Go check them out. Sign up. It's pretty easy. Gives you some quick little overviews here. You got some features going on. A nice big green little button here to try out that free demo. All right, guys, so go check them out, and be sure to tell them that EMS Office Hour with Josh Knapp and Jim Hoffman sent you there. So, all right, Josh, so that is pretty much it for that. What I want to do is just want to bring it real home real quick, because we talk a lot about, all of this social media stuff, right? And about how people are watching us and looking at us. Now, you and I both run a Facebook fan page, right?
Sure do.
Yeah, the one thing that I think is important for people to recognize is that fan pages, even nowadays, end up getting either what is it? You kind of put that at Facebook jail, right?
Yeah.
If you post a picture that someone doesn't like, or you post, a comment that someone doesn't like, and somebody reports you to Facebook, you can get your site, your Facebook page shut down.
It's kind of crazy, especially for somebody who runs a business and uses if you run a business, I don't have to tell you that you have to have social media. You have to have a reach out there. Absolutely. And I know that you have, you're really pioneered our reach into Google Plus. You were first on it, and kudos to you. But you also did the same thing with Facebook and Twitter, and you're out there, Jim. Now, what would it do to your business if you got locked out of a valuable way of reaching, your people, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the way that my visitors and my members can connect with me. Sometimes it makes it a little easy to connect with me a little easier, but it's just it's easy for them to connect with me. Like, they can get me on, let's say, they can get me on my Facebook page pretty quickly, or my Facebook group or whatever, a little faster.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's just a way for them to do that, and if it gets shut down, then now that connection is lost. And most of the time, Facebook, when they do this to people, they do it temporarily. It's like for a couple of days, you'll get kind of locked out. It has not happened to me, so I'm not encouraging people to go out there and try to find something on my page to screw me. So, but I have seen other, Facebook admins, people that I know, other Facebook pages, where they have been.
Well, there also seem to be active in a different way, and really what the formula is that Facebook uses to ban questionable or unwarranted content, I'm not 100% sure what that is. I know, things that I've heard about in the past that have been used. I've had stuff that was removed by Facebook, but knock on wood type thing. It's still no. But I think that you and I are a little bit more cautious than some of the people that we know.
And I think, most of my stuff is sort of on the educational, line. And you have some more of the same type of things going on. You also have things. I
try to be.
And you've got more. I think you have more of that feel good stuff that goes on in EMS as well. You put stuff that's kind of feel good stuff. With EMS, so it's a little bit different. I think your phone's ringing.
My phone just rang.
Yeah. So, I think that it's a little. I think you and I are a little safer when it comes to that because we don't go out there trying to piss people off. But right, that's the thing. It's like, who knows? Maybe somebody's perception of what we're posting they might not like. Listen, I sent the email out to people, and part of my email intro was WTF. And I got responses like, "Oh my God, how could you talk to me that way? Is that the way you talk to your customers?"
For real?
Yeah.
For
and
real?
I was like, and I'm like, listen, I said, yeah, you're a customer of mine, you're a member of mine, but I'm saying that as a way to sort of entice you to continue reading what I'm writing to you to gain your interest, and at the same time I'm writing at you because I feel that as a fellow EMS provider, we sort of have that little bit of a bond going on. We can kind of talk a little bit off the cuff. Now, I didn't curse. I could say WTF means anything, But
I'm in trouble on this show.
I had a few people who wrote me and said, really, is that the way you send it? I'm like, come on,
Grow up. There's a point when we rely on a level of maturity from the people that hopefully are following us. But
I think those people, the ones that end up kind of complaining about the pictures that might be a bit too graphic, or that they think is violating somebody's privacy, or is not, that great. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Right. And I think that's an ever-growing issue that we're going to have to be aware of. And I just got this thing stuck. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right.
But
and there goes Grace in the background. She's gonna
Grace.
She's gonna be famous now.
Grace is famous. Yes, we're doing a new format on Google Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what I want to do, I don't want to keep going on and on about it, but I do think that that.
Well, the point I wanted to make was that even for us, and we're fairly conservative about this, I would say. You have been there through the years, telling me to tone it down, relax about certain things, not respond, do the things that are a little bit, keep it a little bit more in the upper up, and more professional. Right. And I think that the playing field keeps on moving, and even for us, when we play it in a conservative manner, we're not sure, where the boundaries lie.
Oh yeah, there's times I post stuff, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. Sometimes I post it, I'm like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think the key thing that people should think about when they're posting stuff on Twitter and Facebook is to really think if you are concerned that it's going to get you in trouble, then don't post it, because it probably will.
That's a good
if you're
rule
thinking if you're thinking that it's something that's kind of racy or you shouldn't be doing it, then don't post it. Because it doesn't have to be something racist. It could just be something that's maybe a little off color that someone takes offense to. So I think you're better off, withholding that rather than trying to be funny or being edgy, because then, you being funny or edgy is what ends up getting your Twitter account closed or your Facebook page banned. So I think you're better off playing it safe until agencies and companies kind of realize that, Facebook and Twitter and stuff can be a benefit to them rather than
somebody who really sets the boundaries.
Right.
The boundaries need to be set as well. I mean, we're really working within an arbitrary environment, and that's what I sort of said before: is the playing field continually moves. I don't know. You say don't put something edgy out there. Maybe I'm just putting out a factoid, on chest tubes or something, and somebody else is going to find it.
And I think that agencies, and this is something that I've talked about before too, with it's important, I think, for agencies to have a public information officer that can develop social media policies and guidelines and whatever, so that if they have a no tolerance policy for stuff, because I've seen people kind of, I got fired because I did whatever, but if there's no tolerance policy and you're aware of it, then you should just refrain altogether, because you're just opening yourself up to a bigger headache.
Right.
But agencies that don't have a policy and then they get nervous or offended by what somebody's putting out there, then they have that, like anything else, especially with EMS, they get that knee-jerk reaction. What happened? You get suspended, you get fired, you get, publicly humiliated and end up losing your job. Then you're trying to find another job because now, your name is mud, from being out there.
You're the YouTube guy. You're the YouTube medic.
Right. I want to be the YouTube medic that gets 1 million hits so I can make money on my YouTube video, not the one that
sell T-shirts.
Oh yeah, T-shirts. I know. I love T-shirts. More T-shirts. Can never get enough T-shirts.
I need a slogan on my T-shirt. I need writing on my T-shirt. All right.
I know.
Yeah.
The only thing that I want to just go ahead and post this up. Hopefully everybody can see this here. These are our web addresses.
Cool.
Go check out all of our little websites here, guys. I'm at emsseo.com. Josh is at wanu.com. Of course, the podcast itself is over at emsofficehours.com. And, of course, our sponsor at emsmanager.net. So go check all these sites out, guys. Well worth the visit to go check them out. Josh, thanks for joining me on this episode of
this first episode.
I know we had a little bumpy ride here, but I think
it's okay.
Overall, I think it went fairly smooth.
For the 15 people we're going to get to signs into the Google Plus to see the antics that we put on.
Well, this will be on YouTube once I edit it out. Once I edit some of the stuff out of it that we had some bumpy stuff on, and I'll put it up on YouTube. But I'm going to pull the audio out of this. I'm going to put it up on the main show so people can listen to it. And of course, you want to watch it and see what you think about this sort of format.
And if you guys don't agree, if what we're saying is too frickin' milquetoast, too wishy-washy, and you're sitting there saying, screw that, I have First Amendment rights, I should be allowed to put up whatever I want, well, let us know. And we'll bring it up.
I always encourage the comments, exactly. Make sure you put comments, whether you put them here at Google Plus, you put them on YouTube, you put them on the blog, wherever you want to put your comments, be sure to go ahead and throw them up there. I'd be more than happy to see what everybody has to say, what everybody thinks about it. So, all right, Josh, so let's end it there. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have another great topic to discuss.
Sounds good.
All right, Josh, talk to you later. All right, everybody, any questions or comments, be sure to send them over to me. Admin at emsseo.com. Until next week, as always, Jim Hoffman. Stay safe.